All right, so Ponyboy here asked a question. How do you deal with a client who's basically saying, good, great, but we're going to get two more estimates? So this is a hard one. There's a few different layers to this one. Ultimately, what it comes down to is the client is not sold, right? So you got to first try and isolate why they still feel they need to get some more estimates. So you should have already uncovered how many people they've had out. And then you should be able to then narrow it down. So an easy one would be like, hey, fantastic. I totally understand. Saying that you want to get a few more estimates tells me that you're really serious about making the right decision. Is that sort of how you feel about this? Okay, great. So in order to make sure you're making the right decision, you got to make sure you're actually getting what it is that you are looking for, right? Now, you should have set up a list, like written out a list of the things that they wanted at the beginning and through the appointment when you were sort of asking them questions and discovering what it is they really want. So what you could do then is say, okay, great. So in order to make sure you are getting what you want, you do have to, check off your boxes. So go through each one of the lists, each one of the items on the list, each one of the things they're looking for, whether it's the design aspects of it or something they want out of the company, or pricing, things like that. If they are saying yes to all of those things, then they may just be holding back info from you. But if they say yes to all that, an easy one would be like, okay, well, all these things are lining up great. So, where you could ask for their business. So, I mean, I know you want to get those other two estimates, but if all these are lining up, it seems like this is going to be the right option for you. So how about we go ahead and do this? And if they're still like, no, I still want to get those other estimates, then you can isolate it another way. Okay, I totally understand. Is it the company? Are you looking for something specific out of another company? They're probably going to say no. Then after that, if you can't isolate it to company, try to isolate it to design. Is there anything about this design that is making you want to see some other perspectives about it? This sometimes will open a can of worms. You'll realize what the real problem is. Sometimes it's a color problem. Sometimes it's a layout problem. If it's a layout problem, you're more likely going to be able to solve it than if it's a color for that, you don't offer. So say, no, we love the design. It's exactly what we're looking for. Okay, great. Is it me? Did I do something you dislike? That one's sort of a gimme. They're always going to say, no, we loved you. You were fantastic. And then it just leaves price, right? So you say, oh, okay, well, I guess if we're solving all the stuff you're looking for and the company is what you're looking for and the, product, the design, all that, and you're okay with me, then it's the price, isn't it? Now, be honest with me. Is it the overall cost? Is it the monthly cost? Is it the down payment? What is making you feel uncomfortable? So what you're hopefully doing here is not just isolating it to price, but also hopefully isolating it to one of the different parts of the price. A lot of the time, the reason they want to get other estimates, if it wasn't a design thing or, it wasn't just that they don't trust you, then it's just money. Almost any objection can be funneled down to money. So if you can isolate to one of those three, it's the overall cost. We just, we never do any business on the first day. It's a common thing you'll hear them say. So just to make sure we know we're getting the right price, we just want to see a couple other people. So now we've narrowed it down to price. That's fantastic, because then you can just turn it into a price objection and go from there. In general, though, usually if you're getting the we need to get some other quotes, it falls into two categories. The vast majority of people fall into the category of there is just something that's holding them back that they feel uneasy about, and you have to isolate it like I just said there. And then every once in a while, you'll just get a shopper. Maybe they've already had, they've done their roof remodel, they've done their kitchen remodel and their bath remodel, and they've just sat through so many of these appointments and they're sick of it. And at this point, they're just not about it anymore. They're just shopping around, right? For those types of people, you try to get them to admit that. If you can get them to admit, yeah, this is just something we've done so many times. We're sick of it. We have our process now. Then the only thing you can really do there is trying once more, like, hey, totally understand. You've been through this before. Who did you end up choosing out of the three? And a lot of the time they'll say the third or the second or whatever. Okay, if you would have seen 3 estimates, but you weren't really sure about any of them, would you have done the project? They're probably going to say no. Okay, great. And if that one you ended up going with would have been your first and, you know, versus the third one, would you have still gone with them? And these questions just sort of try and get into their mind that if they do really like you, it's okay to just go ahead and do it. Once more, that's a hard one though. Usually for shoppers, they're just going to ignore a lot of the details and just go with the price. And you know, you can't sell everything. So this is a very long-winded answer. I hope that this was helpful. Please keep coming with the questions. And if you want to dive into one of those things more specifically, we can also do that since this video is way too long. Anyway, thank you, Ponyboy, for posting that question there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.